Opposition reflex is an exercise we teach when the dog's with us during their full service training program. The reason we teach it is to ensure that the dog fully understands its job when it's in a stay position. Normally when we do opposition reflex, we want to take the dog off of the prong collar. When we use a prong collar, we're teaching the dog to follow us, and we use a series of like little pops as a way to communicate to the dog when it needs to follow us or what we're asking it to do. With opposition reflex, you want the dog to actually oppose the pressure from the leash as opposed to follow it like when the prong is on. I will always use a buckle collar when working this exercise. And remember, this is for dogs who have completed the full service program so that you know the dog understands what we're doing right now. Other than that, it would be confusing to do this to a dog that has never had it done before. So I'm going to start with the dog on a place command. So rep place. Place is an exercise where the dog cannot leave. So what I'm going to do is I tell the dog place, but then I start wiggling the leash a little bit. Normally dogs will follow a wiggling leash and say, okay, that must mean I'm allowed to get off, right? So I'll walk in, good boy, good place, and I keep the motion of the leash going. I don't want the motion to stop just because I walked in to reward the dog, because remember, we're trying to get the dog to have the obedience overpower the actions that are happening around it, whether it be with the leash, whether it be with people clapping and calling, or whether it be with people who will walk over to the dog, start petting it, and walk away. That doesn't necessarily mean that the dog is done doing the obedience command that the trainer assigned them to. So once I get a nice wiggle going, I'm going to start putting just a little tension. Now, notice, because Red is more towards the end of his training program, his whole demeanor changed when I put tension on the leash. This is a dog that understands the leash pressure of opposition reflex. He's pretty much saying to me, his whole body got tight, and he said, oh no, you're not pulling me off this bench right now. And now I'm rewarding that tight gesture. I do not want to put tension on my leash and then loosen it, walk in and reward him. That's counterintuitive to us rewarding him opposing someone trying to take him off the place and get him in trouble. Put pressure on my leash, and this is pressure. I mean, I'm pulling. You can see he's kind of going forward. I walk in. That's my boy. Good job. I keep it tight. Good. And now I can walk back out. The only way that he's allowed out of the position is if I give him the release command. Doing this and continuing to do it on the back end of your training will only make your stays and your places stronger. Good boy. Good. Okay. Okay. And now he's allowed off. And you saw him hesitate for a second, but that's okay. He's just trying to be a good boy. Now I'm going to do it in my sit position. Stay. I go out. I do the same thing. I wiggle my leash. I can clap my hands, get down. None of this means for him to get up. When people pick up the leash, that doesn't mean the dog gets up. And if the dog does get up, then they need to be put back into the position. Using my tension. Now, if he scoots forward again, watch how I correct it. No, 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 no. No, no. Sit. Stay. Good. I'm okay with him moving his front legs and bracing himself, but when that back end moves, we have a problem. Good boy. Good, Red. Okay. Move him around a little bit. Stay. I always step off to the right when I leave my dog in a stay position. Good. Another thing I'll do is I'll throw my leash down. I'll walk over, bend over, pick it up. This is not a cue for the dog to start walking or to break doing what it's doing. Good boy. I'm gonna reward him. Good. Okay. And then you can also practice and do it in the down position. Down. No. Good boy. Good down. So with him in a down, I'm going to take this and I'm going to pull up. Now notice how he's like, oh no, I have to be down. The rules of down are the elbow has to be touching the ground. Good boy. Good. So we're messing with him a little bit, but this is a dog that has absolute clarity, okay, in what he's being asked. Opposition reflex is great to use for a dog that's constantly testing the boundaries of the door. If you open your car door and the dog flies out, do opposition reflex a few times and really emphasize to the dog, like, you don't come out of the car, you don't break the threshold of the door unless I say okay, which is the release word for the dogs.